Hello and welcome to yet another exciting, informative edition of Zimbabwe, the Awakening Giant. Now, if you want to see the growth and success of a society, you look at their least privileged people. And in most cases, women and youths fit into this category. Today, we are focusing on how a local non-profit making organization, Zimbabwe Agriculture Development Trust, has taken it upon themselves to make sure that women and youths of this great nation are empowered through farming. Recently, ZADT, in conjunction with the Swedish and British embassies, launched a revolving fund dubbed the Causeway Project. From this fund, women and youths will get funding for their agricultural business, thus improving output and helping the economy grow. This organization also came together with partners from the financial sector, farmers' cooperatives, as well as embassies at a symposium aimed at addressing the financial inclusion of women. We start off this program by talking to the Swedish ambassador to Zimbabwe.
For Sweden, the focus on development cooperation is really to uplift the poorest, those being furthest behind. And if you look at a society like the Zimbabwean society, we all know that women and youth and children, those are the most marginalized. And for them to be able to really grow themselves and to choose for themselves and to really get a grip on the potential that all of them have as when they are young. I think a project like this, Causeway, is a very good way of addressing to give support to the most marginalized women and youth in terms of getting access to finance, but also in terms of training and other resources that are necessary for them to start build the basis for their own future. So we are not only a partner giving funding, we are very much an active partner where we can bring to the table, besides funding, also dialogue strength. We have access to institutions, to policymakers, to decision makers that we will use as a platform for also engage in a dialogue for making a contribution to create sustainability for supporting those that are furthest behind, and not least women and youth. We can share a lot of experiences from our own development, but everything we do has to be put in context. It's not to replicate what worked in Sweden and then we would bring it to Zimbabwe. But I think in terms of equipping everyone with a deep sense of being able to take charge of your own life.
Most women tend to step back when it comes to financial inclusion. What do you think women are supposed to do for them to take control of the situation, be literate?
Well, I think it's very important, because if you are in an unequal relationship where the man is deciding on the resources, the income that the household or the family has, the women doesn't have the possibility to grow, to take decisions, and to be also responsible for the family's future. I think it starts with education and knowledge for everyone, and not least women or young girls that then grow into becoming a woman, that they have the same right as a man. And to be equipped, you need training, you need education, and when it comes to this program, where you get also access to financing, you can build your own business. Because if you can rely on your own ability to take care of yourself and your family, then you also have a choice to step out of a relationship that is abusive and is not built on equal terms. So that's the key for women to take charge of their own lives.
Even though the development in our countries is at different stages, challenges faced by women are very similar in every part of the world. Access to finance and gender-based violence remain the major societal backdrops, and the British ambassador to Zimbabwe, Dr. Joan Abbott, explains the effect of these actions.
GBV, or gender-based violence, is not a Zimbabwe-focused issue. It's actually a global issue. 1 in 3 women around the world will be abused at some part of their lives. And so basically it's a pandemic. But it's a pandemic that's preventable if we all make a decision not to abuse, harass and exploit women. And so it is a problem in my country, the UK. It provides a huge cost to the economy, not just in supporting women, but also in holding women back from the positions that they can hold, but also the cost of judicial, police and other services to take care of women that have been abused. So yes, my country has lots of problems with gender-based violence. Zimbabwe does too, and I think that's why we're really committed to be at this event as the UK Embassy, because we've put our women and girls strategy at the heart of everything we do. And the Minister of Women is going to be attending this event today, and we'll be talking together about how we bring those different strands together, how we can educate girls, empower women, and do so in a way that can end gender-based violence. What we've tried experimenting here with local partners is to look at ways that we can bring men and women together, couples, to be able to jointly plan a vision for their families and jointly think about how they're going to share and use resources. And I think that kind of approach has had real success because it's enabled men and women to still conform to some societal and traditional norms, but come to a way of agreeing how are they going to share and use financial resources in the interest of the whole family. So I think women are really good custodians of money, and we know that from cash transfers, very small amounts, $10, $12 a month per person in a family, through to bigger businesses. So I think the worry isn't on women taking care of the money, but I think it comes back to what we were talking about earlier, about how can you agree within a family how resources are going to be used. So we've put a revolving fund in with the Zimbabwe Agricultural Development Trust so that can on-lend to women and youth-led businesses. We have really high success rate in terms of people being able to return those loans, and they're able to provide the mentoring and support. So they twin women-led businesses with other successful businesses. So for example, if you're rearing chickens or growing vegetables, you can link up with others and make sure the businesses are a success so that women can pay back the loans and then sort of potentially borrow more money and begin to grow their businesses.
Allowing women access to finance has a major impact on the success of a nation, as we have just heard there from the two ambassadors. We take a short commercial break. When we return, we hear from the Minister of SMEs, Community Development, Women and Gender Affairs, Honorable Monica Mtwangwa. The poultry industry in Zimbabwe is growing, and you can easily become a big business person through egg incubation. At Alvin Fowl Incubators, we manufacture solar and electric powered machines for all levels, with our entry point being the small machine for small scale farmers. Our hybrid machines are suitable for medium scale farmers. For commercial production, we have machines that carry from 576 up to 10,000 eggs. Wherever you are, we will deliver a professional Alvin Fowl incubator as per request, and also train you on how to handle and use that machine. All our machines carry a 6-month warranty, and we also offer after service to all our customers. Please contact us via email on sales@alvinfowl.co.zw or contact Shane on 0776 737 191. Alvin Fowl Incubators. All the eggs we incubate turn into money birds. Today we are looking at the efforts of a local NGO, ZADT, in helping women have access to finance. Now we speak to Honorable Monica Mtwangwa, who was part of the invited guests to this symposium, to hear how these kind of symposiums and funds affect and impact her ministry.
What is important is collaboration, partnership. We are happy as a ministry. We are really upscaling a lot of engagements with whether it's commercial banks, whether it's private sector, because we are all Zimbabweans after all. Our president has been very clear about the fact that all Zimbabweans should come on the table with your ideas. The fact that we are the ministry doesn't mean we have all the expertise. This is why we are working with everybody who has got expertise of working with communities, expertise in working with women empowerment issues. We are talking the same language, making sure that we also talk about the importance of financial inclusion. What is the sources of GBV, the GBV, lack of financial access, to our women who want to start their projects so that they can become economically independent. As a ministry, we are happy to be working with our development partners, embassies. You saw there are embassies who are here working with us, and ZADT is doing a great job in making sure that we empower especially our women in farming. There's a lot which is happening in this country. There's a lot which women are doing, but what the government is very serious about is to make sure that there is no one who can suffer in silence. We want to make sure that we sensitize our women. We go around the country as a ministry together with our development partners, our CSOs, to sensitize our communities, the evils of GBV. We want our families to start at that family level, to make sure that families understand the importance of bringing up children in a gender-based violence-free home. We are seeing that a lot of our youth are getting back into the streets. These are the results of this disharmony which comes within families. So we are working with families, we are working with communities. Empowering communities doesn't mean you go there and dictate a project for them, but empowering communities is just organizing them so that they can come up with what interests them. And I'm happy that ZADT, that's what they're doing. They are making sure they are working with communities, they are making sure they are supporting some individual farmers, some in groups, some cooperatives. And this is the way we will make every Zimbabwean actively participate in the economic development of our country. It is we are walking the vision of our president, Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, who says we shouldn't leave anyone or any place behind. And what we are seeing here is collaboration of private sector. We are very happy to say our commercial banks in this country, they've come on board, they've realized the importance of SMEs. It's no longer looked at as a risky sector, but it's a sector which actually, when organized, when they are given skills, they can actually do wonderful businesses. So training is very important. Technical training is important. Digital training, we want our SMEs to use e-commerce, e-marketing in terms of problems like COVID, pandemic. At least we want our SMEs to survive. And I'm happy that the banks have come on board. They're coming up with very good products which at least can be accessed by our women, and where they're giving tax holidays, and some of the accounts they don't have to pay interest rates for the first 3-4 months when they get loans. So this will go a long way. This is what we do within our ministry. So what the private sector, the development partners, the NGOs and COs are doing, our job as a ministry is to coordinate that. We have got a greater impact. We do no longer want fragmented efforts, because if we have fragmented efforts, CSOs going that direction, ministry going that direction, development going with the partners going another direction, we will not achieve the results which we want, which is gender equality and women empowerment.
The CEO of ZATD is a former banker, and so when he left that job, he realized the gap left by banks when they are stringent on lending to women and youths. Mr. Godfrey Chinwera chose to be the bridge to finance, and he made these comments.
We see that women form a very important segment of our economy in terms of their involvement. You see that they contribute a lot, starting from the household level, but we've also noticed that they contribute immensely to the economy. In the studies that have been done, when you help women, even when you fund them, you find that their repayment records are much better than that you would have from men and other businesses. So we find them to be an important part of our society, and this is why we are targeting women and youth, supporting them to be able to realize their dreams and their goals. But we are celebrating this inclusion of women during this period when we are also commemorating activism against gender-based violence, because we are talking about women, and we realize that part of empowering women is being able to support their businesses financially, so that they can also be able to do the things that they desire to do and be economically empowered themselves. And I think this is the essence of today's commemoration, today's symposium.
Yes.
The Causeway project is designed at empowering women and youth economically. The idea behind it is that we support the women and the youth to develop their business skills. So we provide entrepreneurship support in terms of training and other capacity development activities, such as helping them to develop business plans that they will use to access loans from banks. In addition to that, we also provide funding through a revolving credit fund that we have, and we administer in collaboration with local financial institutions, that is banks and microfinances. So the fund that we administer, the ZADT fund under the Causeway facility, is useful in terms of supporting businesses, mainly to prove concept. You see, we are targeting women and youth who ordinarily do not have any track record of dealing with banks. They've not borrowed before, they've not serviced any loan before. So even after training them, even after capacity developing them, they still struggle to get traditional financing from the local financial institutions. So our fund is provided at concessional rates and terms and conditions that are softer than the ordinary terms that you find in the market. But we handhold them, so it's not only about funding. We are saying we train you, we provide entrepreneurship knowledge, we link them with markets, we link them with technical assistance providers, but at the same time we provide some funding for them to be able to start their business, hoping that through that funding they'll be able to create the much needed or necessary credit history that will allow them to tap in funding from the banks and microfinance institutions as they upscale and grow their businesses.
If women and youths are given access to finance and their movable assets are used as collateral, then they can focus on the growth of their agribusinesses. We take another short breather. Please stay tuned in for more. The poultry industry in Zimbabwe is growing, and you can easily become a big business person through egg incubation. At Alvin Fowl Incubators, we manufacture solar and electric powered machines for all levels, with our entry point being the small machine for small scale farmers. Our hybrid machines are suitable for medium scale farmers. For commercial production, we have machines that carry from 576 up to 10,000 eggs. Wherever you are, we will deliver a professional Alvin Fowl Incubator as per request, and also train you on how to handle and use that machine. All our machines carry a 6-month warranty, and we also offer after service to all our customers. Please contact us via email on sales@alvinfowl.co.zw or contact Shane on 0776 737 191. Alvin Fowl Incubators. All the eggs we incubate turn into money birds. This is the final part of this week's edition of Zimbabwe, the Awakening Giant. In this segment, we hear what women who are into agribusiness and finance have enjoyed so far and what they expect in the future.
So I'll give you an example of like I said, I started in 2010, and without NGOs and developmental partners, we wouldn't be where we are right now. What NGOs and developmental partners do is to empower communities through training. They bring communities together. So for a microfinance institution or a banking institution, you've got a contact point. From all the work that the NGOs are doing, you can then choose what kind of products can you bring to the community. The communities, they also bring localized knowledge, because while we are planning and plotting in our offices, we are doing it from our own perspective. We are not taking into consideration what the communities want. However, when you engage communities, they will tell you exactly what matters for them, what works for them, and we have to now align your products to what the communities that you are working with. Communities are very different, right? We look like we are a homogeneous group of people, but we are not. Very, very different. If you are working in Mutare, it's very, very different when we are working in Blawayo. So we need to understand those nuances, and you can only get those nuances if you are working with local communities. It provides increased outreach. So if you're sitting in Harare and you're thinking you want to reach the last mile, I'm hoping this conversation, I'm bringing it a bit lower to the last mile, right? So we're not talking about people in towns. If you really want to reach the last mile, and this is what our duty should be, is you can do this through communities and working through NGOs in local communities, because they've got the pulse of the communities. So you can't just go in those communities without talking to them, because they'll tell you exactly what is required in those communities. It brings a lot of trust and credibility. If there's no financial services, you can't just walk into a community without talking to the community structures, explain to them what it is that we are trying to do, the empowerment, and we'll also talk about just you have got access to money. We also talk about the bad aspects of microfinance. Let me assure you, microfinance is just not fun. Sometimes when we're in platforms like this, we are always talking about everything of being equal. It becomes very difficult when somebody doesn't pay you money. What do you do? How are you viewed in the community? So it's very, very important on the onset to have this conversation, so that when things go wrong, people understand and expect that this is what is going to happen. So you need communities to be able to do that. Communities themselves, they provide a lot of capacity building. You can do training of trainers within communities, and you let them run with it. They can train each other. You don't have to be there as an organization to do that. They'll do that on your behalf. And they're also a risk mitigant. When you are in some communities, in some church communities, the idea of getting a loan and not paying it back is taboo to them. So they provide their own risk management, which is not security. Because as commercial banks, NMB, they're stuck on having title deeds, but there are other ways of actually getting people to pay you back. It's moral persuasion. It's communities. Communities are very dynamic and they are very resilient and they want what is good. So if you train them, they will work with you, right? And then scalability. Obviously, you want to grow your business, but also this one I've got a disclaimer. When you are lending, please do not rush into scalability. Because that's not actually the end game. The end game is reaching people, touching them at their pain point, but making sure that they are able to be better than when you touch them.
We don't want initiatives that keep women busy, but do not give them meaningful impact and progress. So I think what we have tended to see are, initiatives that we are satisfied to say women are busy, they are doing something, but are they making an impact? Are they growing? Are they able then to change the situation of violence that they are in? Are they, for example, able to make a decision to say, okay, I'm leaving the situation of violence and I'm going to start my life afresh, free of violence? So for me, it's really meaningful, impactful interventions that transform women's individual lives. And for us, that starts at the nucleus, which is the family, the way the woman lives, where decisions are made around her life, and hopefully where she has a voice and influence around decision making.
Because of all the experiences that I faced, I saw it imperative to expand our products, where we are saying we want to give people value for their money. So it's not just about giving them vegetables, especially the upcoming farmers, but we also walk the journey with them to make sure that we empower them through sharing the right skills that they need on their journey. Because I've realized that especially us as women, when we go to financial institutions wanting to apply for a loan, they start to ask if we are bankable. Like they say that it's a harsh rate, but that's the reality. Not only just women, even the youth. So I'm an advocate for youth and women. So there's so much gap, especially on the skills part. The reason why we are then saying not to be bankable, it is because of the skills that we possess. So throughout the years, as I was going through my journey, I saw it imperative to be engaged with the right people so that I have the right skills in my business to make sure that I know how to then scale the business. Because in as much as we want the finance, if we have the finance but without the right skill set, then it will all be for nothing, which then makes a circle that goes round and round to say women are not bankable. So throughout, when I started to apply for loans. The major challenge was credibility, to say you are operating from a small scale, and myself coming from an IT background and getting into agriculture, which was a new territory altogether, they had to then question to see if I was not a risk. What made me credible for them to actually have the confidence in me.
Zimbabwe, you have seen and heard it for yourselves. Allowing women and youths access to finance will help grow our economy and confidence in our financial sector. Unfortunately, time is not on our side, and that will be all we had for you this week. So until next time, same place, same station, pleasant viewing.